Welcome back to another episode of Steaming Pie with Lauren and Tucker. I'm Lauren,
And I'm Tucker.
and I have been doing research for a book I'm writing, so I'm reading a lot about alchemy. And I've read one book, and I'm like halfway through the second book, and the big theme across both the books that is real dumb is they're like, there's a lot of stuff to alchemy, and we would explain it here, but that's for the true students to understand, and we're not writing for the masses. And I'm like, how do you expect anyone to learn about this thing if you don't explain it?
Alchemy is a very exclusive club, it turns out.
Yeah, and I got to thinking about secret societies in general. Like, a lot of secret societies, things like the Illuminati, whatever, they're supposed to be about, like, taking over the world, right? Why would they be secret?
Because, that's a very interesting question. I do believe the answer is because they don't want the unwashed masses to gum up their works. Think about, think about democracy versus the Illuminati. Democracy is slow. It's cumbersome. The Illuminati, if they're going to take over the world, need to only make themselves up. They need to be comprised of only the most powerful people,
Right.
right? The larger an organization, the more unwieldy it becomes, right? So that's probably why these organizations stay secret. You also want to keep a small footprint because that will basically unify your it'll unify the diversity of opinion that might occur in a group. So if right, like one of the a big problem with just America in general is that it's huge. It's huge, and in across that vast area and just the massive amount of people, you're not going to make everyone happy. Everyone's going to be very loud, and very little is going to get accomplished. Alternatively, if you have a small organization and you more or less all want the same thing, world domination, yada, 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 it's going to be much easier to accomplish because you don't have a lot of people talking over each other.
Okay, that makes sense. And maybe it's just because I haven't seen the Illuminati's influence, despite the fact it is everywhere. But you mentioned democracy taking forever. It feels like the push towards the one world order thing is also taking forever, which could just be it's supposed to be a lot of things at once. But it's like if we describe democracy as taking, one unit of time, then all of these other organizations just have to take 1 minus n units of time. They just have to outlast democracy, I guess.
Or pretend to be democracy. Right.
The illusion of choice.
Exactly. Perhaps we're already living in a world where this has already occurred. One world order. And it just appears that we are multiple sovereign nations, and that might not be the case. Now, is that a very, very dumb worldview to have? Yes, incredibly so. But it's not impossible.
Yeah.
Or is it impossible?
I don't know. Depends on what they talked about at Davos or whatever it's called. the conference of billionaires. I didn't get my invitation to that.
Well, surely it's just been, lost in the mail or something.
I've been practicing
Yeah.
for 2 years on how to fake it at Billionaires Club, and it didn't work out.
You just gotta sneak in. You just gotta
There's
you know,
still time.
whistle in a tune, sneak past the guards, and you're in. Then you're with the elite, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've lately been fantasizing about interacting with the elite, not to like be present among them so much as just to pretend I don't know who they are.
So
Because
like
that
ego damaging.
like what?
ego damaging. You want to damage your
Oh
egos?
yeah,
I'm sorry.
I do. It gives me warm, comfy thoughts to walk up to like at Elon Musk or someone and be like,
Who?
no,
Doesn't
don't
ring a
know who
bell.
you are. Professional wrestling? 'Cause I don't really follow that.
Yeah.
Were you? No, you were on like a sitcom in the '90s, right?
Right, right.
Like one of those
yeah.
really old shows.
You were a minor character on Seinfeld, weren't you? Yeah. Tesla. Yeah, I've heard of him. Well, what about him? Cars? I thought Ford was doing that. I didn't know there was a whole company about that. Huh. Good for
Yeah.
you, I guess. Yeah.
I would want to so bad. Or just people who have made their whole brand being recognized, like the Kardashians. I would love to make them think I don't know who they are.
That would be hilarious. That would be really funny.
Or just like to come and be like, so what do you do? And just play the game of I don't know what any of these words mean. Influencer, is that like an aerobics thing? Do you sell perfume in a department store? Is that what that means? You're influencing customers to purchase something.
Yeah, you're in advertising, right?
Yeah, marketing.
To be fair, that's really all influencing is. It's marketing.
Oh, very much so.
I mean, to the point where that's not even like a astounding comment to make.
Yeah.
That's just and
Yeah, I think content creators could just say they work in marketing because to make ads that are successful, that is marketing. Yeah. To build a brand for yourself is marketing.
Absolutely. To get people to... I mean, I guess there has to be a business behind it, right?
True, yes.
Because you can't sell your personality, right?
No, I don't. You might be able to. There's a family that did that. I think. They built a whole brand around themselves. I think they had a show on the E Network, maybe.
Are you talking about the Kardashians again?
Yes.
But I mean, they sell stuff, don't they? Like they
I guess.
have things.
They sold an app.
Did they?
Yeah.
That's dangerous.
I think it was like one of those. It was just like a crappy mobile game. It was not.
Oh right.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, like one of those Second Life games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that.
Ooh, that would be what I'd bring up.
Huh. Yeah, no, that's... But there's no way that's where they get all of their money from.
Oh, certainly not.
Where else could it come from? The TV show? I guess they have to get paid to be on the TV show. A
percentage of it. And I mean, the family had, like, some money to begin with. Because Robert Kardashian?
Who?
The lawyer?
Oh.
Something O.J. Simpson money?
Gotcha. Okay.
And Jenner was an Olympian, which may not mean much, but because Olympians don't actually make that much. But I don't know if there was endorsement money potentially from like Wheaties.
Probably Wheaties.
Wheaties. And then I think the rest just comes from being in the right place at the right time. You know, whether that be in LA in a video with Ray J.
Yeah, Ray J.
Being friends with Paris Hilton. I think like those things get you the exposure.
Yeah.
And I have no idea if the show spawned just from that one video or if there was like further incentive.
I thought the video came after the show. Is the show even still running?
It's just ending?
Really?
I think.
Up with the Kardashians.
Which I have not done.
Okay, let's see. Are these new episodes?
Maybe?
I think it ended June of last year.
Ah.
Wow. Yeah, it ended June of last year. Why did it start though? Do you think it was because of the
I mean, I would assume so, or even just like by virtue of being friends with Paris Hilton, I would assume gets you something. And I mean, Kris Jenner is kind of a genius at marketing in
mm,
like the sleaziest way possible. She knows how to take advantage of, well, all of them, they know how to take advantage of a situation to make it about them and to make it an opportunity to make money.
the idea of creating a reality series originated in 2006 when Kris Jenner showed an interest in appearing on a television show together with her family. Jenner commented, "Everybody thinks that my children could create a bunch of drama in their lives, but it's something that I felt I didn't even have to think about. It would be natural." Producer Ryan Seacrest, who had his own production company, decided to develop the idea, having the popular family-based show The Osbournes in mind. He hired a cameraman to visit the Kardashians' family home to film them having a Sunday barbecue. They were all together, as crazy and as fun as loving as they are. Seacrest described the family after seeing the tape. Huh. Yeah, no, that's so it's Ryan Seacrest's fault. Okay.
That makes sense. I'm willing to blame a lot on Ryan Seacrest.
That's fair. You can do that. That's allowed.
Exactly. Some people are celebrities, and I feel bad. I feel bad for their experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Seacrest is just, I don't feel anything for.
Yeah. I mean, but he's a really good host, but like he's incredibly good. But that's, I mean, I guess he can't. I guess he's bad at picking shows that should be made.
I mean, from his standpoint, it was a success because it went on for 16 years.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mind his pockets.
Yeah, I guess he won. Good for him.
Losing to Ryan Seacrest.
America.
It's only natural. Yeah. It just seems like a natural outcropping. Which, I mean, I guess as far as reality TV goes, they're, as a family, more fun to talk bad about. There's something cathartic in making fun of them because we feel like they can take it. Whereas there's other instances of reality TV that just feel sad. Like, I watched a compilation of like Maury Povich clips today, which I don't often do, but it came across my feed and I'm like, sure, let's check this out. That show is intense and so hyperbolic and just messy. Like, regardless of how staged it is, I think it's a little weird to take so much rabid glee in just these very personal, messy relationships being exposed.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of started to feed back on itself. It's probably played up for the camera. I'll bet you it's not scripted. I'll bet you it's not. But it's played up quite a bit. And they go out and find these people. Right? Same is true for, what are the other two? Jerry Springer and Steve Wilkos. Even Judge Wilkos. Judy, even.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The screening process for these shows, not only is it's got to be exceptional, but it's also they're never going to run out of content.
Oh no!
But what makes it so that you can't make fun of the people that show up on Maury? Like, sure, you can't talk shit about Little People Big World, but are you gonna that's the reason you watch that kind of television, right?
I mean, sure. There's definitely an element with stuff like Maury where it introduces almost like a moral superiority of like, I don't have this issue, so I feel better. But then I realized that like there is a kid being born into or is already born into this whole circus, and that circus has just been put on national television. And so it's less the exposure that that kid has experienced with their family's dirty laundry being aired, and more just those parents have to come home,
Yeah.
and that life just continues.
Yeah, they never, and again, I think that, I mean, this is obviously intentional on the show's part, but they never talk about the before and the after. It's always it's always the during, and I wonder what what that's like. What happens before the show to get you to that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
During the show, it's played up, and then after the show, yeah, they have to go home, of course.
Yeah.
So,
And we don't know how some of these people take the fame and the rush of attention.
I mean,
And the whole
famous.
time I'm watching, I'm like, oh, have any of these people died?
Oh, I mean, you get, yeah, obvious, yes,
It's
of
like,
course.
6 weeks after this aired, did one of them die? Like,
Well, I mean, the Maury show has been going on for like what 30 seasons now. That's
Yeah.
a large, so enough people have come through the show that yes, of course, a large enough
yeah.
sample size. Yeah,
True. Because that is one of the like weird things with reality TV is sure certain percentages of it are scripted, but I have seen a couple instances where someone has gotten stabbed, or someone has gotten shot or shot at. I'm like, how much of that is scripted?
I don't know,
like
but
we
they
mapped
certainly
it.
don't edit it out.
Yeah, we mapped it on the person's body beforehand. Just like make sure you stab him here because we did this. We blocked it.
That's got to be. There's no way that they could get away with that legally, right?
Probably not.
Ugh.
If you want to keep your broadcasting license, maybe don't advertise that you're encouraging people to stab someone.
Yeah, that's I hear that's illegal.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I haven't actually tried it, so I don't actually know. Are they okay back there? Your cats?
Yeah, no, one of them just like. I have no idea if her mews are being picked up by the mic, but she was just talking and rolling over.
I don't
Do you
think
have
I've ever
something to
seen them
say?
both in the frame before. That's
It is rare.
yeah, cute.
Yeah. Do you have thoughts on media stabbings? Okay. She thinks it's bad.
Really, a cat thinks violence is bad? Sure. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's a very high opinion you have of your cats.
That is, yeah. Yeah. But no, media that captures stuff like that, it fascinates me. I'm in my, like, spooky content phase and the dark content phase where I'm just repeatedly watching compilations of, like, here's the darkest stuff on YouTube I found this month. And it gets bizarre.
What's the darkest thing you've seen so far?
That's tough. It's a toss-up. So the first one would be it's a home invasion.
Mm-hmm.
Worst fears. And it's a guy and the person breaking in, and the homeowner and them, they're trying to have a conversation, and the homeowner calls 911, and they let the person who broke in talk to dispatch because he was like going through something, so they're going to try to calm him down that way. And it goes back and forth, tensions escalate. The guy, I think he hangs up. I think the guy who breaks in hangs up on 911, and they call back and they're like, hi, is Christopher there? And Christopher is the homeowner. Mm-hmm. And all you hear on the other line is, no, Christopher's dead.
Oh.
Yeah, he wasn't dead at that point. But just, it's a good compilation when you scroll through the comments and all of them are that timestamp and nope. No.
Yikes.
Yeah, and the other was just an unfortunate situation. It was this mother who I believe was either bipolar or schizophrenic, but I think she was schizophrenic. And just a lot of delusional ramblings about how her kids belong to her, and any attempt by the state or the father of the children to try and get them into a safer situation. She resisted lots of ramblings about like the state being out to get them, and then she bought a firearm, and she made her kids record everything. They were like trained to go and get a phone to record when things were getting bad.
Interesting.
And they did not have a secure home situation. She would move in with like family friends or just friends of hers, and she would eventually just start fighting with them, and it would escalate and be bad. But the kids actually caught their mom arguing with, I believe, police. Police had been called for some sort of disturbance, and they caught their mom arguing, and the argument escalated, and the woman basically said something along the lines of like, fine, shoot me. And they didn't catch the actual exchange, but they caught the audio. And it was bad. That was probably like the worst that I've seen. Thankfully, I know that I can't handle stuff like Live Leak or Ogreish or any of those things, so I cut stop there. Only safe for YouTube content, but there's still a lot of just like awful things that get captured, and I don't know what it is that keeps me coming back to those. If it's almost like an exposure thing to just be like reminded those things exist, or to be grateful for whatever situation I'm in, or even just to like I don't know. I don't know what attracts me to those things, because I can't do it for very long. Otherwise, I enter the no sleep phase. That's not good. But every once in a while, I'm like, no, it's light after 5. I can watch these during the day.
Yeah, that's you probably go back to the same reason that, people watch reality television.
Yeah.
That's your reality television. I don't know if that's, better or not, but
yeah.
Like, is it what's the bad part of reality television?
I think the fact that some of the scenarios are controlled and orchestrated rather than purely spontaneous. Like a show like Unexpected, which is about teen parents.
Mm-hmm.
There was a situation where it's a 15-year-old girl and I believe her 16-year-old boyfriend or something. And she's 8 months pregnant, and he has isolated her from her friends and family. He didn't want to take her to the hospital after she had been in labor for like 25 hours, and didn't want her to get an epidural because he didn't want her to become a drug addict.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is like an abusive situation.
Sure.
And the producers aren't going to intervene to keep her parents in the loop. They're just going to let that happen. They're not going to pull her aside and be like, hey, this is wrong. We're not going to film this anymore. They're going to let it keep going.
Okay. So then in a way, what you're watching, compared to that at least, is better. Because it's not contrived and there's not much you can do at that point. And everything that can be done is being attempted. Yeah.
I wouldn't call it journalism, because it's not like some of them go in more depth and they give the full context and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is kind of a tricky thing. And I'm sure there are people who are like, no, that's worse actually. Because there's still like the line of like, well, are they profiting off of the pain and trauma of someone else? I think it depends on how the video ended up online in the first place.
That's fair. But does it really matter how the video ended up online in the first place? Because that is whoever posted it, who is seeking monetary gain from that, was not directly related. So while yes, they are potentially making money off of someone else's pain and suffering, they are so far removed from it that there is nothing that they can do. And it can be argued probably that the act of posting that video does not perpetuate any sort of bad things. Right? At that point, it's just a story.
Yeah.
Whereas if a producer isn't intervening with something that is actively happening in front of them, that's bad. That's worse.
Yeah.
So reality TV is literally worse than home invasions, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Huh. Well. Okay.
Not by much, but
disappointing, but not
through
surprising.
through this line of thought.
Well, again, that's not totally shocking.
Yeah, and it is interesting to see like what ends up online, and just the shared knowledge of certain things. Like I caught one video, and this guy was not harmed beyond, psychologically, but it was like this factory, and you had one end of the hallway, there's probably like 4 people wide, that's just like spooling out what looks like fire hose kind of, just really long, and it was gathering in the floor, and you have 2 guys feeding it into the chute, a chute that happens to be like size of a person.
Oh, good.
And one of the guys gets picked up in with all of the tubing or whatever and starts getting pulled into the chute. And his friend has to slam his hand on a button that's way too far away for the emergency stop. And they pull him back out, and he's totally fine. And the comments on that are like, oh, good, it wasn't like the Russian lathe machine.
Oh,
people
God.
are like, you've seen that one?
I don't like to think of things where the word degloving comes to mind.
Yeah. It's just the comments that were like, what's that? Don't look it up. I looked it up, and now I hate my life.
Yeah. It's not a good video. Lathes are dangerous.
Yes.
Big lathes. Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah, because I identified with the person who was like, yeah, hi, I'm not looking it up, but can someone verbally explain to me what happens?
Yeah.
And even that, I'm like, oh no.
Oh no.
OSHA's a good thing.
Even then, OSHA can't stop everything. These are dangerous machines.
Yeah.
Dangerous. Oh, God.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Because then after reading stuff like that, it makes me think of like, old school factories when we had, kids as young as 7 or 8 just doing those things because they fit.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm baffled. Like, I don't know if that was just because life was just harder. And like, if you made it to 7 and you only lost a couple fingers, that's pretty good. I don't know if that was just like the sentiment at the time of like, wow, you're contributing to your community. I'm sorry you lost your arm, but do you know how many kids would kill to have your job right now?
Yeah. Hey, whatever keeps the tennis shoes moving, huh?
Oh, no. Yeah.
Just, you know what they say, just do it. Well. Generally speaking, don't leave YouTube for things that need to satisfy that niche. That's just you want to stay there.
No.
You don't want to go to Live Leak. You don't want to do that. You don't want to run the gauntlet. You don't want to
Oh, that's right. I heard about that thing. And I'm like, oh no.
I wonder if it's been updated recently, because for a while I don't think
I
I've
just
checked.
hope not.
Well, I mean, they keep refreshing the video. I assume they've refreshed a couple of them. The Gauntlet. There's also the Cringe Gauntlet, which I think is even worse.
See, if I knew the Cringe Gauntlet was like safe for work, I would be so fascinated to see how well that goes for me, because I like to think that I have a pretty high cringe tolerance. Because sometimes cringe comps are just people being mean and throwing in people that they think are worth ridiculing, and it's there's only been a couple of instances where I have felt the physical cringe recoil sensation.
Let's see. I think the cringe section is safe for work.
Okay.
Does not contain any adult-related content. You must be of any age in your country to proceed. Prepare yourself with snacks. That's not what the Gauntlet page says. I
can't imagine anyone would need food for that one.
Okay. The first video is the same. There's a way that you can see all of them.
Oh, like in a list.
Yeah. Okay. Oh my. Oh my. Can I just get the... Oh, I'm going to have to open this in Chrome. God. I think it's just /list. No. Yeah, I don't know. It's... The first video is the same, and that's fascinating. I mean...
Yeah.
Oh, God. Now there's... Oh, no. No. Close.
Oh, yeah, close.
There was just a lot of ads to just start playing it once. It's honestly, ads are worse than the Gauntlet. Honestly, I mean, the Gauntlet, fine. I can do a lot of the Gauntlet. Video number 2 used to be paper cuts. And, that one was bad. That one was really bad.
Like, just someone...
Between the fingers.
Ooh.
But, yep.
That's only for dimension hopping. That's not...
Yeah. That's not something you just... Oh, God. Even there, it was hard to watch.
Yeah. Well, and stuff like that, it's... again, I'm fascinated with why people are drawn to it or curious about it, and I think it may just be exposure. But it's fascinating to me, like, what really gets people and what, like, sticks with them. Because I read another list if it was, like, worst deaths in film and television. Mm-hmm. And it was fascinating which ones, like, had to spell it out and which ones could just say things like curb stomping, and everyone knew immediately what that was, even if they hadn't seen the movie, because I haven't seen American History X. I like being happy when I watch things.
Don't watch American History X then.
No, it's not on the list.
That one's pretty... That's a lot. That movie's... It's not the most, but it's a lot.
It is a lot. And it's... Yeah.
Well, yeah. It is a good movie. I don't know. It's conflicting. Do you want to see good movies but only good happy movies, or do you want to see good movies no matter what? Like, there are a lot of movies that are hard to get through that are so good.
Oh yeah.
But is it worth it? And often I'd say sure.
I think sure's a good way of looking at it. Sure. Because there are definitely some movies that I'm like, I understand that this is, like, important. Mm-hmm. I'm not watching it.
Yeah. Unfortunately for me, it's something I decide after the fact. So
yeah.
I could have lived my life without seeing Human Centipede. You know, like,
oh, yeah.
I didn't need that. It was, I mean, it's not a good movie, so it doesn't really fall into the category, but I could have, you know. Didn't need to.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm trying to think of, like, the last, like, movie I watched that was hard to sit through but, like, worth it at the end. And I think it was Just Mercy, which was, like, 2 years ago at this point. Or maybe Shawshank Redemption. That one was also...
Shawshank Redemption isn't that bad.
It's yeah, that's the thing, is it shows where my threshold actually is when it comes to movies. If
Yeah.
the heaviest thing I've seen is
The
just Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Don't watch American History X. Don't watch Clemency. Don't watch Human Centipede.
Yeah.
It's just, it's not. Nah, just don't. It's just not.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and like Requiem for a Dream.
Oh,
I hear
no.
it is like
No, don't do that one either.
yeah. Well, and just Aronofsky's movies in general,
Mm-hmm.
like I I don't want to.
Yeah. Yep.
Because between that Mother, I watched a reaction to Mother, and I was just like, why?
That movie's good. Maybe you should watch that one. That movie's incredibly good.
No.
You draw the line at Mother? This is a very squiggly line you're trying to draw here.
It's yeah, no, we gerrymander my comfort level.
Huh. That's God, it's so good though. It's so good. It has Ed Harris in it.
I do like Ed Harris a lot. I really like him in The Truman Show.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was thinking about this the other day, where like I gerrymander what violence I'm okay with in media and what violence just makes me upsetty spaghetti. And because like I can watch things with intense comical violence, like in the Suicide Squad, lots of people just like explode.
Sure.
But in the context of something like The Boys, I don't like it. And I think what I don't like about it is the maliciousness paired with the helplessness of the person. Because I'm just like, oh no. Because it's not me that's the superhero. I'm the person getting exploded. And I don't like that. Because once someone decides that, hey, I can do this and no one's going to stop me, like, it's over.
Yeah.
Which in some cases you should be like, but it's over like in an instance. Like, I don't know that.
And yet you still won't watch Mother. That's insane to me. I don't know. There's no violence in there, really. I mean, there is, but it's not like
there is.
I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean when you say you've seen a reaction to Mother.
As in someone else watched the film and discussed it while watching it.
Interesting. Okay. Like full length?
Like 30 to 40 minutes.
Interesting.
Yeah. And they even had to like blur all of the awful stuff because it's just online.
Yeah. That's I didn't know that this existed, that people will watch a movie and react to it like that. I don't know. I guess that's not a bad form of reacting because it's not a market substitute. Yeah. Huh. I didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah, no, I used to watch more than I do now. I've pared down who I watch considerably. But it ends up being helpful if you want to watch something, you're okay with it being spoiled, but you want like a feel for it.
Yeah. That's fair. And again, it's not a substitute for the real thing, even if it's spoiled.
Exactly.
Although that is kind of a gray area, because once it's spoiled, most of the point of watching it goes away. So that's very interesting gray area.
It can depend. Sometimes I have watched other people watch something and it has confirmed that I want to watch it. And it's usually just like a good research. Now, sometimes I won't watch it because I'm like, I just want to kind of experience it as a whole. Like one of the channels I watch just did the Batman, and I haven't seen the Batman yet. And I'm like, I might. I want to feel how I feel when I watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and I've watched other people watch movies that I've seen multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess in the sense that it's not. Yeah. So this guy just put out like 8 or 9 video long series about the labor exploitation of React content.
Oh yeah.
His Dark Viper AU. He's usually a GTA 5 speedrunner, but he has so a couple months ago, he posted a 14-page document that was going to be a script on a video about this, and people picked it up. He didn't even get a chance to make the video, and so he got into it with someone, and now it's 2 months later, and he's fully fleshed out his ideas, and he's made probably a grand total of like 3 or 4 hours of content on this, targeting people specifically, big people.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's fascinating because I didn't realize how big the problem was. I guess I don't watch people who do this on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
The people who, so the argument that he brought forth was, first off, React content is bad because you are basically generating content off the backs of people who have spent more time and effort into making that content. You're basically taking that work for free, and you are essentially making a market substitute. In the case of if you're live streaming it on Twitch,
oh yeah,
you're basically I think the root of the argument is you are taking away impressions.
Yes.
And that's really what the algorithm does, is generate impressions, trying to convert impressions to clicks. And that's right. So the only way you can get promoted on Twitch is if you're live. If you're not live, no one really knows you exist, right?
Mm-hmm.
So by just falling back on this content, you get to be live longer, which means people stay on your channel longer, which means they don't go and seek out other forms of content, other forms of media. When you post these reactions to YouTube, you are taking away impressions from other possible things that could be presented, and you're also providing a market substitute. And also, there is no trickle down.
Yes.
I mean, there's hardly any, right? And it's baffling to me that this is viewed not favorably, but nothing's truly been done about it.
Yeah, and I've definitely seen aspects of that because I have watched creators who have had their video basically stolen, I think by Hassan Piker.
Yep,
and he just let it play, and when the person who made it was, I think it's JXE, they were like, hey, if you're going to watch my stuff and let it play on your stream, that's fine. Put my name somewhere or talk about it. Mm-hmm. And Hassan just responded very immaturely.
That's all he can do.
It was like, what, you expect me to be chained to my desk? And it's like, no, just, do something else.
Yeah.
And
this exact thing was brought up, actually.
Yeah.
This is,
And there are some that I just, once people got like into double reactions, I kind of quit. And like, I have done a reaction, but I also wanted to use it to respond to it.
That was transformative. You weren't eating dinner while you were watching it. Yeah.
Yeah. And that I think is the big difference is, sure, I watch movie reactions, but I think the commentary would be the more accurate phrase for it because they cut out significant portions. They pause and talk about it. They talk about the film, how it was made, whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if you're just letting stuff play, and Jack's Films actually has a really funny skit about it where he reacts as someone else did, where there was nothing. It was just copying it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's...
I wonder if there's I wonder if there is a even lower effort way to, right? So you have, it's kind of like not the food pyramid. What's it called?
Maslow's
what's it
hierarchy.
called? Yeah, it's a hierarchy, but like in ecology, right? The sun has 100% power, then plants have
Oh,
it,
oh,
and it drops by 10%. Then something eats the plants, then that drops by 10%. Then someone eats the thing that ate the plants, right?
yeah,
And it drops 10% each time. You want to drop the effort each time. Someone spent 100%
yeah.
of the effort. Now reactors are spending maybe 1% of the effort. How do you take 1% of that? The only thing I can think of is if you have the computer do all of the work. And here's my
Yes.
idea. Here's my suggestion. And it's titillating enough that it might. I don't know how hard it would be. But you create, and this is very easy to do because some channels are just made up completely of this. Basically, week-long playlists, right?
Yeah.
And then you have an AI-generated VTuber randomly interject with things that could apply to anything. And then
Yeah.
just stream that 24/7.
Oh, yeah.
That, I think, would be really cool.
I think it'd be even. I don't know. Because I wouldn't want, like, anyone who has generated work necessarily to lose out on the views and ad revenue. But I wonder if that would be good with, like, those random, like, Family Guy live streams. Where just inexplicably it's Family Guy 24/7.
Mm-hmm. And that would make that legal, just to have something react to it. Because I don't know that I don't know if copyright law requires a human react to it. Is showing it, like, react has so many definitions.
Mm-hmm.
What if we just put like a color histogram, a live color histogram? It's reacting to the image that's on the screen.
Ooh.
I don't know if that's stretching it. To that point about like Family Guy live streams, I've stumbled across channels, 2 channels specifically, and I want to get to the bottom of this. I need to like comb through every video they've ever posted, and see if there's a pattern. But there are the title is random numbers and letters. The description, random numbers and letters. Some of these videos have millions of views. They were all posted in like 2010, 2011. And they're clips of shows. The ones I'm tracking down are of 2.5 Men. Now, and they don't seem to have, they're not like centered around a clip. It's actually just seems like it's a chunk of the show. And so I'm wondering if this is somehow a way to back up the show to YouTube in little independent clips, and that somewhere they're linked, right? Like some random letter and number combination is linked to some other random letter number combination. The problem is that there's so many clips that it's really hard to piece them together. So what I want to do, and YouTube tags these, it actually recognizes what episode they're from. So I wonder if there's a way to match them. First off, you know what episode they're from. I wonder if there's a way that you can further match it to the part of the episode and see if there's 100% coverage over a certain amount of time.
Maybe.
That would be cool.
That would be really cool, because if it's not that, it honestly just sounds like the drop shipping equivalent of YouTube is just upload enough to make money from it.
That's also incredibly possible, yeah.
But if it's a television show, normally those get slapped with copyright claims like immediately.
I mean, it might be copyright claimed.
Might be claimed by the copyright holder.
Yeah, it may be. I mean,
if it is linked and it's a secret backup.
They're not full episodes. They're just little clips, maybe 2-3 minutes long.
Which just confirms that it's not like just... Because that is the thing I wonder about. Like, obviously it's not just sitting on Chuck Lorre's desktop, but like, what do you do with full television episodes?
Oh, like the master tape.
Yeah.
CBS has them somewhere. I'm sure they're in some sort of archival system they have.
That would make sense.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I mean, some sitcoms are shot on film, so I wonder if they keep all of the film, or if they just keep the master copies of the edited episode, which would end up being digital. That I have no idea, and I don't know. They don't shoot many sitcoms on film anymore.
No.
I'd be shocked if they shot any on film anymore. But,
yeah, unless it was. I think the only show that's been shot on film recently has been Euphoria.
That was shot on film?
The second season was.
Fascinating.
Or maybe both seasons, I forget.
That's still awfully interesting.
It's, yeah, no. Season 1, from what I have heard, is good, like artistically well done. And season 2, Sam Levinson decided he didn't need a plan anymore.
Oh no.
Now he shoots without a script.
Okay.
They would come in every day and they're like, what do we want to do? I don't know. We're just gonna feel it out.
Yeah, that's a show that I've been meaning to watch, just because it was big a couple months ago when the second season came out. Mm-hmm. And I read about it. It's like, this is like 13 Reasons Why, but worse.
See, and your opinion on that would be one that I would be curious about, especially like once you get through to the other side.
Yeah. I am tempted. I'm tempted because there's a reason that all of these TV shows are popular.
Oh yeah.
And the answer is the same reason college sports is popular. Nostalgia.
Yes.
There's likely probably only two things that market better than nostalgia, and that's sex and death. I'll bet you nostalgia probably even outperforms death in terms of marketing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nostalgia has to outperform death with the amount of people who win a Best Actor or Best Actress for playing somebody who died. Like, nostalgia does very well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the second most powerful marketing tool then. And I mean, that's... Checks out.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess now I have to watch it. I just finished Scrubs.
Oh wow.
It wasn't.
That's
good.
a long running show. Yeah.
It was okay. The gimmicks got old, and then season 9, it was basically another show entirely. So, in fact, maybe it was another show, and I just have it organized incorrectly. But it was basically the main cast kind of dissolved toward the second half, because I think Zach Braff wanted to do something else.
Yeah.
And so he was there occasionally at the beginning of season 9. And some of the secondary characters were, still around, but the main cast had changed to med students.
Yeah.
It was all right. It was not. I was happy to have gotten through it. Yeah. So, gotta get back. There's so much television, Lauren. It's overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah. No, we're slowly making our way through the show about a war orphan who writes letters, because it's a heavy show, and we've reached like the last happy episode. Like, she helps a widower and a man who lost his daughter like find catharsis and move on. But the next episode's description starts with Violet remembers the war, and we're like, nah, we need to wait. So we watched a show about a bunch of like weightlifting high school girls, and that was fun.
There you go. Yeah.
But the shows, especially comedies, I think are just hard to keep going for any length of time.
Yeah.
Unless you stumble upon something good, but even then it's hard, because like I just finished The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel season 4. And that season had a rough start. It took me a while to get through that one, just because I was like, no, you were in the wrong. And the show doesn't seem to realize that you were in the wrong.
Yeah. It's I feel like comedies can and should have shorter runs. Right? What is it? Letterkenny just did their 10th season.
Really?
Yeah, and they're spinning
Holy
off into
smokes.
another show now. I think they're putting Letterkenny on pause, and they're taking another. They've branched off. They've started. I think 4 of the 6 episodes have aired of a show called Shoresy, which looks incredibly good. Which I'm glad. I'm glad they're putting Letterkenny on hold because it's good, but the gimmick is getting old. And putting it into a slightly different style with the same kind of humor is actually rather refreshing. All the clips I've seen, it's going to be a short first season, so I'll be able to rip through it very quickly. But I'm looking forward to watching it because it's Letterkenny, but it's not Letterkenny.
Yeah.
Right. And Letterkenny got old because 10 seasons, that's 60 episodes, and it's basically become a meme of itself.
Yeah. No, and I've not seen that much of it. I've seen maybe 10 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
You could write an entire episode that's just catchphrases from the show. You just like.
I'm pretty sure they did.
It'd be a great surreal like April Fool's episode of where it's just the same situations, sitting outside by the road, sitting in the living room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there was an episode where one of those stories was the pastor, the priest. He was making merch of the catchphrases that they always said, but it was he was getting them incredibly wrong. Like he confused hard no for hefty no thank you.
That's
so it's funny, but but like it's become a meme of itself, and especially towards season 10, just some of the writing patterns have really gotten old. So I'm hoping that Shoresy is as good as it looks, and that it'll break the mold.
Yeah.
Just enough, right?
Yeah, there are definitely shows that I'm like, I could watch a lot of this. Like Smiling Friends, I could watch 8 or 10 seasons of that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have 8 to 10 seasons in them, but for 6 episodes a season, I think they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and maybe it's not so much that it's like a meme of itself and it's getting old, but maybe it's that it just has its head up its own ass. Right? Just like,
Yeah.
Rick and Morty had this problem.
Yeah.
And actually, Rick and Morty had an interest. Rick and Morty, Justin Roiland made a new show called Solar Opposites, which is similar, but different. The animation style is very similar. Mm-hmm. It has to do with outer space. Roiland makes like one of 2 voices that he can do. But it's different enough that it's actually kind of better in a way.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And the whole point of Rick and Morty seems to have gotten lost, and it just has its self-righteous head up its ass until it starts to focus on it tries too hard to be episodic in nature, I think. Even though they've established a deep lore, they just want to ignore it. Like painfully, obviously, and fourth wall breakingly, they want to ignore it. It's like, why?
Because I really liked, what is it, the first 3 seasons of Rick and Morty?
Mm-hmm.
And I know it all kind of came to a head with the Szechuan sauce thing, and there was something with Dan Harmon. But it seems like everyone involved with Rick and Morty was like, hey, can you guys just be normal?
Yeah.
Like, just stop. What's wrong with you? And it seems like it mellowed out from there, at least from a fandom standpoint. But yeah, no, I think I can understand reaching a point. Because, I mean, we all have days where we dislike our jobs, and I can understand that can kind of come through even on, like, a collaborative thing, where it's just whatever. Put out whatever. We don't have to impress anyone anymore.
You're describing Family Guy.
Yeah.
It's very interesting that, and I haven't seen the most recent couple of episodes, but for the first, 23 seasons, South Park has been amazing. I don't know how they keep pulling it off.
I think because they have to be current, like so much of their content comes from what happened
That's true. They are on a
recently.
they write and finish episodes in 6 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is also just bananas. But
And I think South Park may also just operate on the throw it at the wall and see what sticks. And the stuff that's
yeah.
really good, the stuff that's really good, people remember. But the stuff that's either bad or just kind of average, it doesn't matter. There's a new episode next week.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So I need to catch up on that. I think there was a new season. Season 24 was just 2 long episodes, and then season 25, I think, it's it was post COVID, and then post COVID, the return of COVID. I think they're both hour long episodes.
I hate that they were right.
Woo! Yeah.
That's a show that I'm sure the guys behind it love, that they've permeated culture. Yes. For sure. The only thing that I definitely know is from that is, oh my gosh, they killed Kenny.
Oh yeah, that's so old. That's season 1 through 8. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure new jokes and recurring bits have emerged, but
I don't know about recurring bits, but they've certainly made fun of a whole lot of current stuff, and it's pretty good. I like South Park. Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those shows we were not really allowed to watch, and by the time I got around to it, I'm like, is that who I am? Rick and Morty, sure. We had the Mr. Meeseeks hoodie for a bit.
Well, you just gotta close your eyes, take a deep breath, let go of any kind of inhibition, and just watch Mother. For Pete's sakes, Lauren, just watch it.
No,
it's good. So Jennifer Lawrence.
I know it's good,
Javier
but it's just. But house guests who won't leave in a house that you can't put together.
It's an allegory.
I know it's an allegory. I know Javier Bardem is God, but
Fine.
Maybe I won't watch Mother, but I will watch our sponsor.
Oh.
That's definitely a viewable thing.
It's not. This episode's Steaming Pile is brought to you by The Dark Room. The Dark Room offers, as its name suggests, completely pitch black rooms, so no, you can't see it. That's just, that's the point, right? Rent it by the hour, no questions asked. Light-proof, soundproof, unbugged, practically on sovereign soil, so no laws apply to you. What are you hiding? You can hide it at The Dark Room. Need a place to cook meth? Come to The Dark Room. Need a place for your band to practice? Come to The Dark Room. Sensory deprivation? Dark Room. Vampire? Dark Room. Developing photos? Dark Room. Developing an allergy to light? Dark Room. Need a quiet place to do your taxes? Come to The Dark Room. All these uses and more at the Anything Goes Dark Room. No waivers, no rights, no rules. Just a dark room. Visit us in La Push, Washington.
Ooh.
There you go. So thank you, Dark Room. I imagine those are getting reserved.
Oh,
very quickly.
They definitely are.
Flying off the shelf, those Dark Rooms.
Oh yeah, I know what I'm doing this weekend.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna use our discount to do it. But until then, this has been another episode of Steaming Pile with Lauren and Tucker. I've been Lauren.
And I have been Tucker.
And we'll see you next time.